got stepped over. I mean, just the dumbest stuff. But here's a young man, 23, that just went through. You say that you're trying to, and it'll make you, question God, question Most High, say why, but you have truly a testimony that you could share with others that put people's life in perspective. And I think one of the things that when I thought about where was I going to go with the content of this particular podcast, and I thought about the particular chapter I wanted to focus on, it was attitude determines altitude. And you literally spoke to that eloquently a moment ago. You just said it could have been your attitude. You could have jacked your attitude up. And we get the right to question. There's folks there's those people in the Bible, the disciples, those followers that will question God, but yet he always shows up only if you continue to show up as well. And you did just that, brother. So let me see here. I mean, there's something else, I was going to ask you kind of got there before what I talked about Brazil, and I couldn't fathom what would be on your mind. Let's talk about emotions. So one of the things that, I study, in last episode, I had the yogi Carmen Dane on, and we were talking about emotions and thoughts becoming things. But since that episode, I had done some more reading, some more studying, and I know that there's about 7 really positive emotions. One being desire, one being hope, one being faith. The others are around, romanticism and enthusiasm. How did you manage desire when your desire to go to the league was broken? How did you manage hope when your hope got broken? How did you manage to continue to keep your faith? Because I opened up and I titled the podcast from, you're being struggling and going through, just trouble to triumph, comatose to coach. How do you do that?
I think it's my belief in faith and knowing who I am as a person, right? I've been instilled these dynamics in me through the beautiful parents that I have. Now, it was trying, it was a trying time for me, so I'm not going to sit here and tell you, I got through it relatively easily. But my emotions, I had to make sure that they were always in a positive outlook, because I know that this is not going to last always, right? Because the person that I am, I'm going to fight through this. I'm going to get through it. There were moments in time. I'll give you an example. There was a time when my physical therapist was helping me out. So she was passing me the basketball, and I got upset, and I didn't want her to pass me the basketball anymore, right? So that was an outburst towards her because of the situation that I was in, right? But I also realized that this young lady is trying to help me do better to become my full self again, right? So I understood the situation, and sometimes there were outbursts, but I also knew that if I just hone in on being the best version of myself while I'm in there, everything is going to be okay. Emotionally, physically, spiritually, I just need to make sure that I get over the hump so I can get back to being Andre Thomas that I know who I am and I am, that I was.
And we all know who you are, brother. And then the second factor, because I typically try to do the factors on the episodes and then bump, subject matter experts and, people that's gone through like you have to those topics. And like I said, it's a 2-factor cast today. Attitude determines altitude and getting to 36,000 feet. And a lot of people don't understand what exactly I mean about getting to 36,000 feet. But if you've ever flown in an airplane, you're familiar with the announcement. We've reached our cruising altitude of whatever, 36,000 feet is a very common one. And the captain will say you can now turn off and, and unfasten your seatbelt. It's safe to move about the cabin, right? You've heard that, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So people don't understand that. So is life, right? So, I said, wait a minute, let me ask a pilot friend of mine. And when I asked him, I said, what's the significance of 36,000 feet? And he said, well, Chuck, let me put it like this. He said, an aircraft puts in plenty of work and goes through a lot of stress during takeoff, ascending, and getting to 36,000 feet. Those processes alone impact the plane's integrity, structure, overall construction. But when they get to 36,000 feet, it's all worth it, because he says, literally, Chuck, I'm in the cockpit and I can look down on storms. And I've been in planes and I've flown a lot throughout my career, and I've literally been able to be above the storm versus below it as we had to get to it. And I said, whoa, I immediately associated that with your story, man. You know, I'm like, yo, here's this brother that's getting to his quality of life sweet spot, you know, the optimum, you know, altitude of his lifelong cruising altitude. And, you know, he's gone through these same things, that integrity impact, that structural impact, that overall construction breakdown. And you went through that taxi takeoff and ascend, and now you're at 36,000 feet, man. I'm proud of you, you know, and this is crazy. You know, like I said, your body of work with A2CF, bro, you know, talk to me. How do you want to close this? What do you need to tell the people to be better, do better?
What I would tell the people is, number one, just have whatever you believe in and you're passionate about, have faith in it and stick with it, because you never know when your last day is, and everybody doesn't know when that is. Mine I thought was relatively young at 23. So every day that I live, every day that I see someone, every time that I speak, it's powerful because I understand how precious life is. Life is one of the most precious things that we have as a human being, in the soul that we have. So that's why when everybody sees me, they always say you're upbeat, you never complain, because it was bad for me at one point in time. And I know, and guess what? I know there's someone worse than what I've been through in my life. So I'm not going to sit here and dwell on that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pick myself up. I've been what I've been through. It's a speed bump. I got over it. So now I'm striving to be the best version of myself. I'm striving to get this foundation off the ground. I'm striving just to make sure that everybody understands that life is very precious. Now, for me, that's the reason why I got into coaching, right? Because coaching, I understand that I try to pull the greatness out of all young men, that they could be the best version of themselves. I want to see them get degrees. I want them, whatever their passion is, more than likely is basketball. I want them to excel on the basketball court. So that's how I take life. I think life is like basketball. There's going to be some games that you miss, there's some games that you lose, but in all, if you put your best foot forward, you can look yourself in the mirror and say, okay, I've done well. Now, my Andre Second Chance Foundation, to switch over, is geared to that. So I'm giving back to the community. I just recently donated courts to Mastery Academy down in Miami, because they needed basketball courts. All they had was a field for recess. So Andre's trying to go around and fulfill the community of everyone in the U.S. and worldwide. He's trying to get everybody to understand that I am here to help, to love on you guys, because everybody goes through their trials and their tribulations. For me, it was health. Some people, it could be financially. Some people, it could be emotionally. Some people can be spiritually. So whatever that is that you're going through, the Andre Second Chance Foundation is here and is geared to helping people go through their issues, whatever they may be.
Well, you just said a word, man. We're past the collection plate, because you've been able to say, look, what you've been able to do is fill your own void. And sometimes it takes people to the, and I like I said, I had my Job season, and I'm sitting there, and I will admit, I was one of those cats that was sitting in the corner, sucking his thumb in a fetal position. And I thought about Dre's story. And for Dre to be in a comatose, in his deepest sleep, he thought about somebody's story that was worse than him. And he woke him up that said, do and be better. So, man, I tell you what, I'm going to end with this as we go out, man. This has been great. Andre. So let's not fool him anymore. Let's talk about the listening audience about how and what's your relationship with the last two guests, Heisman Trophy Ron Dane, the great Dane, and Yogi Carmen Dane. You know those folks?
I definitely do. First, I'll start off with Ron Dane. He's my older cousin. Ron Dane, he is the Heisman winner. His dad and my grandmom are brother and sister. So I am part of the family. The great Ron Dane, I also looked up to. I can remember days going to Virginia and watching him, and we were just, he was just always fast. I remember those days when he was at Overbrook High School in South Jersey, and he was just running and playing linebacker. My cousin was like, is an idol to me. I tell everybody, oh, my cousin's Rondane. You know, the Heisman Trophy winner has the all-time rushing record, 4 years at Wisconsin. That's him. And everybody's like, wow, that's your cousin. I say, yeah, but guess what? Y'all know him as Rondane, the Heisman Trophy winner. I know him as Rondane, Little Ron, because that's my cousin.
Yeah.
Right? So there's a difference between how we know him. And just being my cousin, I just love Ronnie for being Ronnie.
Yeah.
You know, I think he's an awesome human being, and I just love always to spend time with him whenever I get a chance.
Yeah, no doubt. And you know, like I said, Carmen, and so so yes, folks, yes, here again. This is my other little cousin. How do we know each other, Dre? This is my little cousin, Dre. Yo. I love you, B. Like I told,
I love you too.
like I told, you know, Carmen and Lil Ron, man, you guys inspire me. Your story truly inspires me to aspire to a high quality of life through calamity, trouble, and the victim mindset set to stay calm, triumphant, and victorious. Listening family, you know, you can listen to all the other podcasts on Spreaker.com. It's housed on the podcast library, Spreaker.com. That's SPREAKER.com. Like I said, we've had Breaking the Generational Curse. Tomorrow's a new day. Yesterday really did end last night. The game of life has no gender or ethnicity. You are the CEO of yourself. You better watch your bottom line. You know, again, as Dre said, last episode was on sport on meditation, the power of thought and thinking with Carmen. And before that, it was with the Great Dane. And thank you so much. Attitude determines altitude. Lil Cuz, stay strong. Keep us abreast of the foundation, A2CF. Absolutely. Folks, support is for majorly great cause. And I will end with this quote, and I've used it before, but it's so appropriate for this one. Make the most out of failure. Fall forward because pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. Head for the stars. I will meet you there.